Hi guys, today we're going to look at tempering chocolate and we're going to make some of the common mistakes so you don't have to. So I've got a bowl here and I'm going to put some boiling water in there. It's important to not subject the chocolate to direct heat when you're tempering it, but we'll show you what happens when it gets too hot. So I've got some nice Lindt chocolate here. I like milk chocolate. So the chocolate's actually starting to melt, so you can start to see that in the bowl. So it's just heating up. The heat from the water is heating up the cocoa butter and the sugars in the chocolate and starting to break them down. And that's what you want to start to do when you're tempering chocolate. So you can see we've just got a few little remnants of chocolate, solid chocolate in there. So we're just going to let that kind of melt down. Pretty much we're there, we've got some cocoa butter in there. You've got the cocoa butter, you've got the sugars, it's nice and tempered. We can go and you can let that cool down a little bit because you want a little bit of resistance in the chocolate when it's ready to go in mould, so you get a nice crisp kind of shell and a little bit of weight to it. You don't want it too thin. So one of the things you want to avoid is actually getting water in here. If you get water in here, water starts to bind with some of the sugars and starts to seize up the chocolate. So you read, in a lot of books and hear chefs talking and cooks talking about, seizing of chocolate. So that's what happens. So I've got a little bit of water in here. So I'm just going to put that into the chocolate, you see, and now I'm just going to stir that in. I'm just going to try and mix that water in. It's already getting streaky, and you can see it's kind of a little bit lumpy. It's not as nice and smooth as it was before. It's not got the same consistent colour to it. It's actually gone a bit darker, to be honest. It's a bit more like, I don't know, molasses or something. There we go. So that is the chocolate with a bit of water in there, so it's seized up. We're going to see what that looks like once it's hardened. Okay, so next up, what we're going to try and do is get the temperature, get the chocolate up to a really high temperature and actually try and get some burning going on, so you can see what that looks like. That is a risk because often you're heating it up over a cooker and you've got some water underneath. And what can happen is you just maybe take your eye off of it and it keeps going, and then you start to get some burning going on, which is really not great. And you kind of have to start again with some new chocolate after that. So I'm going to top this up with some more boiling water. Okay, so I was going at it with the boiling water. I actually just whacked it in the microwave for a couple of minutes to speed up the process and so you can see what happens when the chocolate burns. So you could probably see there, you see this chunky lump here? This is the cocoa butter and sugars and all that breaking down, you see? So it's not glossy, it's actually gritty. Look, it's almost like I don't know, almost like a chocolate mousse or something. It looks so chunky. So that's what happens when chocolate burns. It's even more prevalent in dark chocolate. Here, this is milk chocolate, so it's got a little bit of milk going on to keep it a little bit more liquid. Okay, so I've whacked up another batch of tempered chocolate. So with this one, I just mixed it over the boiling water in the pan again, and I just took it off just as the chocolate had almost all melted. So there's a few lumps, and then I just kept stirring it in until it all thoroughly melted. So that's the properly tempered chocolate. Just to remind you, this is the burnt chocolate, and this is the one where we whack some water in. You can see it's quite dark and kind of seized up there. What we'll do now is whack them in the fridge for a couple of hours, and then we'll see what they look like once we take them out. Okay, so it's been about 4 hours. The chocolate's been in the fridge, so it's nice and set and firm now. So we've got the chocolate where we added the water here. We've got the chocolate that we burnt here, and then we've got the chocolate that we tempered correctly here. So you'll actually see, the colour actually looks fairly similar. However, you might not be able to see it in the camera. This one, it's got a little bit of grainage. You can see at the edges. You can see a little bit of the water kind of seeping out. Get some of this up for you to have a look. I don't know if you can see that. It's very grainy. The texture is actually still quite soft. This is the chocolate that we burned, so I don't know if you can see. It's actually still, you can still see lumps on the top. Quite a lot of lumps going on there. It's quite tight. Oh. Actually came off into one big piece. Actually looks quite nice and glossy on the bottom there. You can see that. It's really grainy. You've got bits in there. You've got like lumps of you've got kind of lumps of butter that's kind of congealed a little bit there. And finally, we've got the last bit of chocolate here. It's all come off. It's fairly nice and even. You have a nice good snap to it. Nice and thin and light. That's really nice. It melts in the mouth. Look, it's melting in my hand. Melts in the mouth. Snaps off really nicely. That's really lovely.